Good morning to all. I am Dr. Saravanakumar, Assistant Professor Economics, School of Social Science, Tamil Nadu Open University, Chennai. Today we are discuss public finance, titled Public Expenditure and Public Debt. First, what is the meaning of public expenditure? Public expenditure refers to the expenses with the government, its own maintenance to the society and economy, helping other countries. The public expenditures made by the state, central and local bodies. Next we are discuss canon of public expenditure. First one canon of benefit, second one canon of economy, third one canon of sanction, fourth one canon of surplus, fifth one canon of elasticity, sixth one canon of productivity, seventh one canon of equitable distribution. First one canon of benefit. Canon of benefit is the fundamental of public spending. According to this canon of public money should be spent promote maximum social advantage. Every expenditure should be directed to achieve maximum social advantage to the community. Second one, canon of economy. Canon of economy implies public expenditure should be incurred carefully and economically. Wastage in public spending. Public expenditure must be productive and efficient. Third one, canon of sanction. Canon of sanction means public spending should not be made without sanction of appropriate authority. Fourth one, canon of surplus. Public expenditure should be done in a way avoiding deficit. Government must be prepared budget to create a surplus. Modern economists attach great importance to achieve canon of elasticity. Canon of elasticity. This canon implies that tax should be flexible or elastic in yield. It should be levied in such a way that the rate of tax can be changed according to the situation. Next one, canon of productivity. A tax said to be a productive one only acts on intensive to production. According to this, canon implies that a tax must yield sufficient revenue for the affect production in the economy. Last one, canon of equitable distribution. The canon of equitable distribution for public expense to help equitable distribution of wealth. The government should make expenditure as to provide more benefit to the backward section of the society. Next one, Adolf Wagner hypothesis. The Adolf Wagner is a famous economist. He said that increasing expansion of public and state activities for the real income increase, there is a long run tendency for the share of public expenditure to increase relative to national income. The functional cause effects said that economic growth and growth of public expenditure. Second one, increasing state activity per capita income output. There are extensive and intensive increase in the function of the state. Next, expansion of traditional functions, law, order, defense. Coverage of new functions, social progress, expansion in the sphere of public goods, war and preparation of war, growth of population, urbanization. Next, rise in price and national income, economic planning and growth, specialization, economic production, complexities of modern life mounting. The diagram said that y axis real per capita income, y axis real per capita output of public goods. PG said public goods Y is equal to national income. Wagner argued that the functional cause and effect relationship exists between growth and the industrial economy and the relative growth of its public sector. According to Wagner's relative of the government sector is characteristic of industrialization of economies. Peacock-Weismann hypothesis. Peacock-Weismann hypothesis is a famous economist is in UK in 1890 to 1955. Its study is very empirical study done in the case of Great Britain. For public expenditure, conclude the public expenditure does not increase in a smooth and continuous manner. First one, displacement effect. Lower replaced by higher. Second one, inspection effort. Finding solution for the social and economic condition. Third one, concentration effort. Central government grow faster than state and local government. The above diagram said OX axis period, OY axis public expenditure. Colin Clark hypothesis. This theory is also called critical limit hypothesis. This hypothesis concerns with the tolerance level of taxation. If government expenditure is more than 25%, then it will lead to inflation. So limit of government activities share in 25%. Developed immediately after Second World War, tolerance level of taxation. Causes of public debt. First one, government borrowing has become an important source of funding resources for meeting public expenditure. In olden days, government functions minimal balanced budget. Modern days, government functions increased, find additional sources of finance. Causes of public debt: to cover budget deficit, to fight depression, to check inflation, to finance economic development, to meet unexpected emergencies as an alternative source when taxable capacity is increased, to finance war, to finance public enterprise, to carry out welfare programs, to create infrastructure for creation of productive assets, for creation of essential non-income yielding assets. Classification of public debts. Sources of borrowing. First one external, second one internal. Public debt may be defined as loan incurred by the government to finance activities. Public debt is incurred when the government borrows internally or externally from banks or other nations or multilateral financial institutions. Since debt is to be repaid with interest, it does not consist income. External means public debt borrowing from the other countries and financial institution. Internal means public debt borrowing from the banks and others. Purpose of loan. First one, productive debt. It is yield on income to the government. Second one, unproductive expenses. Time duration of the loan. Short term debt 3 months to 1 year. Medium term loan debt 1 year to 10 years. Long term debt more than 10 years. Provision for repayment. First one, funded debt. Second one, unfunded debt. Funded debt means it's a company debt that mature in more than 1 year or business cycle. This type of debt is classified as such because it funded by interest payment by the borrowing firm over the term of the loan. Funded debt is also called long-term debt since the term exceeds 12 months. Unfunded debts. While funded debt is long-term borrowing, unfunded debt is short-term financial comes due to in a less than 1 year. Many companies use short-term or unfunded debt. Promise to repay. It is redeemable and irredeemable. Redeemable means that debt carry a specific repayment date. The issuer is bound to repay such a loan by a provenant date to the original lender to debt holders. Due to this class, companies can attract more than investor with a redeemable. Irredeemable repayable means irredeemable means a borrower needed not repay it back to the lenders. The interest payments are regular on irredeemable debt. Irredeemable debt has fixed a maturity date in contract. Irredeemable debt has no specific maturity period or no reputation date. Next one, legal enforcement, voluntary debt and compulsory debt. Voluntary debt is a debt which is taken from the people by the government on the voluntary basis. These loans are voluntarily and willingly subscribed by the people to government loans. We shall take a compulsory lending scheme to be one where all the coming under wide classification. For example, liability to pay income tax or deposit with the government a given sum of money from the period of time on the understanding that the willing return to relatively soon. Next one, compulsory debt. It is for compulsory pay to the some debts. Next one, negatively government bonds. First one, marketable loan. It means insured or guaranteed non-marketable loan. Non-marketable loans means government issued debt instruments. Common examples, non-marketable securities including saving bonds, rural electrification, private shares, state and local government securities and federal government bonds. Gross debt. Gross is the total amount of issued credits given to the bank during the accounting period. Liquidity of the bank can be judged upon the amount of it for a certain period. Net debt is calculation by adding up all of company's short-term and long-term liabilities to the current assets. This figures reflects company's total benefits. Redemption of public debts. First one, reputation, refunding, conversion, actual repayments. The public debt is from the four types is very important thing. For reputation means the borrowers buying the debt from every time to renewal for the loan. Refunding is the period should be mentioned. The peoples are repay the loan to the debt. Conversion means the peoples are buying the loans for converting into the long term to short term to long term. At the actual repayment means the people repay with the loan for actual time. It is benefit for the people. So the public debt and the public expenditure for the public finance is very important subject. So hearing the all learners, I am thanking to listening. So thank you.